I want you to picture the absolute perfect team for a second. Let's say you're building a startup or, I don't know, planning a movie-style bank heist.
Strictly hypothetical, of course.
Of course. Or even just putting together a pub trivia team. If you could build that team, would you want every single person to have the exact same skills, the same personality?
It feels like a trick question. I mean, instinctively, you'd say no, right? You want variety.
Yeah.
You need the history person, the sports expert, the one who's loud and confident, and then the quiet one who somehow knows the obscure science answer. You want, coverage.
Exactly. You want variety.
Yeah.
But here's the thing we're diving into today. Most corporate structures are actually designed to do the complete opposite. They're trying to clone the perfect employee over and over again.
Yeah.
They have a template, and they just want everyone to fit.
And they usually fail at it miserably while making everyone else miserable in the process.
That is exactly what we are unpacking. We're doing a deep dive into what we're calling the competency trap, and we're pulling from a fantastic collection of 5 articles by Sylvia Ola from The Contrarian HR.
And look, before we even get into the weeds, I have to say, if you're interested in the reality of work, you really need to follow Sylvia Ola.
Oh, absolutely.
Find The Contrarian HR on Substack and on YouTube. She has hundreds of articles and videos just dissecting this stuff with a level of honesty you just don't find anywhere else.
For sure. And we're only looking at a tiny sliver today, just her work on competency frameworks, so definitely check her out. But our mission for this deep dive is pretty specific. We're looking at those giant HR spreadsheets.
The ones that say you need to be a strategic thinker and a relationship builder and have commercial acumen all at the same time.
Right. But we have to make a really important distinction up front or this whole thing could be misunderstood.
Yeah, we're not saying standards are bad. This isn't about anarchy in the workplace.
Not at all. I mean, if I'm hiring a surgeon, I want them to know exactly how to hold a scalpel. I don't want variety there.
Exactly. Technical skills are non-negotiable. If you're a coder, you need to code. A pilot needs to fly the plane. That's the entry ticket. The problem, and this is what Ola points out so well, isn't that standards exist. The problem is how organizations use these behavioral frameworks. They take this wish list for a perfect team and try to force one person into it.
And that's where it all goes wrong. That forcing process creates what Ola calls the redundancy paradox. And she kicks it off with a quote from Alex Hormozy, which I was not expecting.
It's a fantastic quote, though. Hormozy said, "If you want to have a terrible business relationship, have the same skill, knowledge, and experience as your business partner, this combination will make one of you unnecessary."
It's so blunt, but it's true. If we're identical, one of us is redundant. I need someone who can do what I can't.
And Ola just takes that logic and applies it right to the corporate competency framework. If your framework is pushing everyone to have the exact same behaviors, everyone's a master negotiator, everyone's a visionary, you're not building a team.
You're building a redundancy machine.
Yeah.
She used this example about negotiation that was, I thought, pretty funny, but also kind of terrifying. Imagine a team where every single person is a 5 out of 5 on negotiation skills.
Sounds great on paper, right? A powerhouse team. But then you play it out in reality.
What happened?
Well, if everyone's a dominant negotiator, they don't just turn it off in the office. They start negotiating with each other over everything.
Oh, wow. So instead of making a decision,
You've got 5 people trying to out-leverage each other on every minor point.
Yeah.
It just creates friction. Nothing gets done because everyone's trying to win the meeting.
so you need one great negotiator, maybe 2.
Exactly. And you also need the person who says, okay, decision made, let me go do the work. If everyone's the negotiator, no one is actually executing.
This makes me think of the difference between, say, factory work and knowledge work. Because you can hear a manager thinking, wait, standardization is good. McDonald's works because every burger is the same.
And that's a fair point for a factory.
Right.
If you're on a production line making toasters, variance is the enemy. You want everyone doing the exact same task, the exact same way. Sameness is quality control.
But most of us aren't making toasters anymore.
That's Ola's point. We're knowledge workers. We solve complex problems. Applying factory logic, this production line of the same, to knowledge work is, well, it's just ridiculous.
You're actually killing the thing that makes knowledge work valuable.
You are. You're killing the variance.
Yeah.
The different perspectives. That's where innovation comes from.
There's a personal story in her articles that really drives this home. Ola talks about a manager she calls Debbie, and I think we've all had a Debbie in our careers.
Oh, for sure. It's a classic performance review horror story. So Sylvia, the author, was the best strategic thinker on her team. She had just solved a problem that had been stuck plaguing the company for 5 years.
5 years, that's a huge deal.
A massive win. She comes in, uses her unique strength, and solves it. That is the definition of high performance.
You'd expect a bonus, a celebration, something.
You'd think. But in her appraisal, Debbie, the manager, just brushes over it, barely mentions it. Instead, she pulls out the competency framework,
Oh, no.
and she tells Sylvia, "You're good at strategy, but we really need to focus on your business acumen gaps so you can be better."
That's just so demoralizing. Thanks for saving us, but you didn't tick this one box.
And this is the part leaders need to hear. What was the consequence?
Hmm.
Ola says her reaction was basically, "Fine, if you don't value my actual strength, I'm just not going to use it anymore."
So she stopped. The company actively managed the performance out of her.
They did. They lost their best asset because they were obsessing over a minor weakness. And, that brings us to the second big problem. It's not just that these frameworks create redundancy, it's that the list of competencies is often physically impossible.
This is the impossible list. Ola uses a real example from Accor, the hotel company. And I just have to read some of this list because it's absurd.
Go for it. Let's hear what the perfect employee looks like.
Okay, for one single role you need representativeness, aligning and engaging, empowering the team, negotiating with influence, advocating guest passion, communicating with impact, organizing and
How
planning.
he's going, right?
Oh, yeah. Strategic decision-making, commercial acumen, and driving change, innovation, and culture.
And that's on top of whatever the actual job is.
Right. That sounds like the job description for a superhero, not a hotel manager.
And that is Ola's core point. These lists are fantastic, but they're fantastic descriptions of a high-performing team.
Not a person.
Not a person. A team should do all those things collectively. But it's almost impossible for one human to be world-class at all of them at once.
Is it just a capacity thing? Or is there a deeper conflict?
It's often a conflict in traits. Think about it. Strategic decision-making needs big-picture, abstract thinking. You have to be okay with ambiguity, but organizing and planning usually requires detailed, linear thinking. You have to hate ambiguity. Very few people are wired to be truly elite at both.
So if you try to hire one person to be everything,
You end up with someone who is just average at everything. You get someone who's okay at strategy and okay at planning, but not great at either.
so the mistake leaders make is thinking, I need to find this one person.
Correct. The solution is for a leader to look at that list and say, okay, my job is to assemble a team that collectively covers these bases. The team has to be well-rounded, not the individual.
That's such a big mental shift.
It is, and Ola warns about the sum of parts risk. If you spend all your time trying to fix weaknesses, making the visionary more organized,
Or the super empathetic person more analytical.
right, you just end up with a team that is less than the sum of its parts. A group of mediocre people instead of a group of brilliant specialists.
Which I think leads us to the most controversial part of her analysis. She basically asks, where is the data?
Yeah, the scientific void. She throws down a challenge to HR departments everywhere. She says, show me one refereed journal study proving that behavioral competencies like visioning actually increase performance in a specific role.
And the response is,
Crickets,
Yeah.
usually. Or you get a vague, well, it's best practice. Ola suggests that most of these frameworks have a boardroom origin.
meaning they just made it up.
Pretty much. It wasn't data scientists. It was a group of executives with a whiteboard going, you know what we need? More problem solving.
Yeah, and emotional intelligence. That's trendy. Let's add that.
So it's based on opinions, not evidence.
Largely. And because it's generic, it totally ignores what she calls idiosyncratic success.
Okay, break that down for us. Idiosyncratic success.
It just means that success looks different for everyone. There isn't just one way to be good at a job. She uses this great hotelier example. Think about a waiter.
Okay.
The competency framework might say, must smile to demonstrate welcoming behavior.
Seems pretty standard for hospitality. Right. But Ola points out she's seen amazing staff who don't smile much. They're maybe a bit serious, introverted. But they are incredibly calm, knowledgeable, efficient. They anticipate every need.
And the guests love him for it.
The guests love them because they're competent, but the appraisal system punishes them. They get told, you're great, but you need to smile more.
It's punishing a style that clearly works.
It's forcing a square peg into a round hole, and we've all felt this, right? Have you ever been sent to some strategic leadership course?
Oh, yeah.
And they try to teach you one specific way to lead. Stand like this, talk like this. It feels so fake if that's not your natural
It
style.
feels like you're acting, and you can't keep it up.
Exactly. You abandon it the second you're back at your
Yeah.
desk. And, there's another practical problem here, too. The world moves too fast for these things.
The rigidity versus reality conflict.
Yep. These frameworks take months, sometimes years to build and roll out. If you're in tech, a competency you wrote in January is probably obsolete by June.
Right. If I build a whole framework around social media mastery and then a new platform upends everything, I've just wasted all that time and money.
And for smaller companies, it's just a money pit. Expensive to design, expensive to maintain. And often it creates this culture clash where you're trying to mechanize soft skills, like turning emotional intelligence into a checklist.
Step 1, empathize. Step 2, validate feelings.
Right. It's so inauthentic.
Okay, so we've torn the frameworks down pretty good. They create redundancy, they're impossible, they're not based on science, they're too slow. What's the alternative?
Ola is very clear here. She's not saying don't measure performance. She's saying measure the what, not the how.
And this is a sports analogy.
Right. In sports, how do we judge an athlete?
By the score. Did they win the game?
Exactly. The outcome, the KPI is all that matters. If a tennis player has a really weird-looking serve, but they hit an ace every single time, do you tell them to change it?
No, you celebrate the ace.
So her proposal is set the KPI. Tell the team what needs to be done, then let them figure out how to do it using their own unique strengths. She uses that Laura versus Sylvia example.
Walk us through that.
Two salespeople. Laura hits her target by being super chatty, building deep, slow relationships. Sylvia hits the exact same target by being super efficient and data-driven.
Two completely different styles.
Totally. But the outcome is identical. A competency framework might punish Sylvia for not building relationships or Laura for not being efficient. Ola just asks, why punish either of them?
If the result is the same, the path shouldn't matter. But to do that, you have to think about growth differently. And Ola breaks this down into 3 buckets, which I think is the most actionable part of all this.
It's a great model, training, learning, and development.
Okay, so bucket 1 is training.
Training is for technical skills. Non-negotiable. This is our surgeon again. You don't get to find your own style for landing a plane.
Right. I'm going to land this intuitively. No, thank you.
Exactly. If someone lacks a core technical skill, you train them. If they can't learn it, they can't do the job.
Simple enough. Bucket 2 is learning.
This is knowledge and comprehension. Understanding the industry, the product, the competitors. It's about being informed.
And the third and most important one here is development.
This is the key. Development is about the person and their behavior. This is where frameworks try to force sameness. But Ola says this must be personalized.
You can't just train a personality into someone.
You can't. You have to develop what's already there. And she suggests a really cool model for this, mapping a CIA team-building method to Gallup's Clifton strengths.
The CIA, as in the spies.
The very same. The CIA figured out you need 4 types of talent for a high-performing team, and it lines up almost perfectly with Gallup's research.
Okay, what are the 4 buckets?
First, you have taking action. In Clifton's strengths, that's executing. These are the people who get stuff done.
The engine room. Got it.
Second, generate ideas. That's strategic thinking. The what-if people.
The visionaries.
Third, build relationships. That's the glue. The people who hold the team together.
The heart of the team.
And fourth, organizing resources and people. In Clifton's strengths, that's influencing. The people who can rally everyone and sell the vision.
So a great team needs all 4 of those buckets filled.
Yes. But, and this is the entire point of our deep dive today, one person does not need to fill all 4.
That's the whole takeaway right there.
You look at your team and say, okay, we're strong on executing, but we're weak on relationship building. We don't force our best executor to be more empathetic. We go hire someone who is a natural relationship builder.
It's just so much more logical. You're building a puzzle, not trying to shave down all the pieces to be the same shape.
And it all comes back to that core philosophy from Marcus Buckingham and Gallup that Ola quotes. You will grow the most, learn the most, and develop the most in your areas of strength.
That's such a powerful idea. We're always told our weaknesses are our areas for growth.
And that's the trap. Focusing on weaknesses gets you to mediocrity at best. You go from bad at public speaking to not bad. But if you focus on your strengths, say your analytical skills, you can become world-class.
So the goal is to amplify strengths, not just fix weaknesses.
That's it. Stop focusing on compliance with a list of behaviors. The goal is performance. If your framework isn't driving performance, it's worthless.
So as a final thought for you to chew on, look at your own team, or just look at yourself in your own role. Are you trying to become a photocopy of some perfect employee idea?
Or are you trying to build a puzzle where all the different unique pieces fit together to make something much bigger?
That's the real question. A huge thank you to Sylvia Ola and the Contrarian HR for this work. Seriously, go find her on Substack and YouTube. There's so much more there we couldn't even touch on.
Definitely worth your time.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.